Hello everyone, XRP discussion is incoming, and I need to lead with this absolute gem. Google searches for crypto are dead. Zero interest in crypto and Bitcoin right now. That's exactly when the biggest rallies begin. So here's what I'm seeing. Literally everyone has written crypto's obituary. My timeline is absolutely flooded with this stuff on X. Non-stop doom-scrolling material. Everyone's yelling, "Take your money and run. Salvage what you can before we crater even more." But I'm sitting here thinking, is nobody noticing what's actually unfolding in real time? Think about it. Every major milestone we've been holding our breath for as crypto believers is materializing right under our noses at this exact moment. Clear regulations, just about locked in. ETF approvals, practically signed and sealed. Big money institutions piling in, already in motion. But somehow the loudest voices keep insisting crypto's finished. This entire cycle just flatlined. Come find us again in 2028. What I'm saying is finished is that predictable 4-year boom-bust rhythm everyone swears by. This whole cycle exposed that by getting stretched and postponed into oblivion. Actual utility and use cases are going to run the show moving forward. Certain people can see where this train is headed. Others are straight up refusing to look at the tracks. The Mcrib is back. I know, I mentioned this in my last video, but we need to dig into it properly. McDonald's literally just brought the Mcrib back for a limited release starting today. You want to see something hilarious? Watch what happens every single time the Mcrib returns. Boom, markets explode upward. That Bitcoin chart right there? Yeah, that's the proof. Bitcoin goes on a rally, and guess what? Every other coin in the market basically hops on for the ride. We've seen this movie before, haven't we? But here's what everyone wants to know. Is history about to repeat itself once again? Ripple Labs is conquering crypto now. The XRP Link firm wants to take on traditional finance. Now check this out. That's not some random crypto blog. That's Cnbc talking. The big leagues of mainstream media. When I stumbled on this article, I had to do a double take. Ripple Labs has become one of the world's largest cryptocurrency companies, but executives aren't stopping there. CEO Brad Garlinghouse told CNBC, over the past year, the firm has ramped up efforts to bridge the Web3 world and an industry that has long been viewed as its foil, traditional finance. That's literally been Ripple's game plan since day one. No surprises there. What's wild is you're watching this massive collision happen right before your eyes. Traditional finance and crypto are smashing together in real time. You think the household names entering the space now are impressive. Just hold on. There are players sitting on the sidelines that nobody's even talking about yet. And when they jump in, that's when the real show begins. Get ready, because there's this giant tidal wave of institutions about to crash into crypto. What we're seeing today is just the appetizer. The Goldman Sachs types, the mega banks testing the waters. But the main course, that's your local credit unions, your community banks, the places where your grandma has her savings account. When those guys start selling crypto right next to checking accounts and CDs, boom, game over for skeptics. That's the tipping point right there. Every person who's been calling this whole thing a Ponzi scheme is suddenly going to have an "oh, wait" moment when their trusted banker is explaining how to buy digital assets. Biopharma raises $100 million for crypto treasury to back cancer treatment. This story caught my attention big time, so let me break down their shopping list real quick. They grabbed Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Injective, and threw in some smaller projects most people haven't heard about. But hold up, where's XRP in that mix? Are they lumping XRP into the obscure coin category? Here's my theory, and it's kind of wild. You've got all these companies carefully avoiding XRP in their press releases, acting like it doesn't exist. But behind the curtain, I'd bet money they're stuffing their bags full of it. They've just got to keep that Bitcoin is king storyline alive for the cameras, and honestly, the whole charade makes zero sense to me. Let's be real for a second. Regular people stopped caring about Bitcoin ages ago. Who's got 50 grand lying around to buy one whole coin? Nobody's getting FOMO over something they can't afford. Ethereum? Same problem, different coin. Solana might still turn some heads and get pulses racing. But the real action, the real excitement, that's happening way down the list where prices actually make sense for normal humans. All right, so people are going to be seeking out something they can genuinely build a solid position in. And that's the exact reason I believe XRP is going to be the FOMO champion this time around. The Trump administration wants to allow crypto-backed mortgages. So look, this topic keeps resurfacing, and honestly, we're basically at the threshold where this is going to become a reality. So here's the breakthrough. Instead of cashing out your crypto to go purchase a house, what if you put your crypto up as collateral to lock down the house? That approach means you're not abandoning your entire bag. You're literally earning passive income off of your bag, and that passive income is taking care of the mortgage on the new house you wanted to buy. That approach lets you maintain your crypto for another entire cycle because you're pulling monthly returns off of it. And just picture where the price of XRP is going to be 3-4 years from now instead of, cashing out your entire bag to buy the house. Maybe that exact house only costs you 50 or 100 XRP in the future. That's the whole reason I'm sitting on my crypto without even thinking about selling. If we were back in that crazy 2021 bull market, my entire focus would be different. I'd be looking at you saying, all right, what's our game plan here? When are we taking our profits off the table? But right now, this is an entirely different animal. We're watching institutional money get ready to pour in, and this is the key thing you need to grasp. In this exact moment, you've actually gotten in before the massive players. You've beat the big money to this space, but that head start is disappearing quick. Once these gigantic institutions start buying in, it's all over. That window shuts permanently. And for everyday people like us, brace yourself for paying significantly higher prices to get XRP going forward. Ripple CEO says, company won't support bills that threaten hard-won XRP clarity. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says the company will not support any legislation that risk undoing the legal clarity XRP already secured in the United States. Speaking in an interview with Crypto in America, Garlinghouse described XRP's regulatory position as a milestone won. Through years of legal battles, accordingly, he confirmed that Ripple will not allow it to be jeopardized. Let's think about what this actually means. You just invested millions of dollars fighting an exhausting legal war against the SEC, and then suddenly, some legislation sneaks through that undermines the whole thing. All that hard-earned regulatory clarity for XRP, gone in an instant. There's absolutely no way Ripple stands by and watches that happen. And this is where it gets really interesting. The real story here flies over most people's heads completely. Ripple wasn't sitting in that courtroom just fighting for their own coin. A shocking number of people haven't connected these dots yet. When Ripple pushed back, they were protecting XLM, protecting Cardano, protecting Bitcoin, protecting Ethereum. They stepped into the ring for every cryptocurrency that's trading on exchanges today. Without that clarity, we'd literally be watching crypto projects drop like flies left and right. You remember that whole SEC lawsuit nightmare, right? Throughout 2022, 2023, 2024, basically until election night happened, that was Ripple's war, and they came out swinging with something huge, actual clarity for XRP. Now XRP has that official stamp of approval in the United States, which puts it miles ahead of everyone else moving forward. EZA founder says XRP surge shows where demand is as government. Reopening sparks ETF optimism. Here's the reality. XRP demand right now is off the charts. You think these ETF applications are popping up randomly? Not a chance. Major firms aren't burning resources to file applications for some coin nobody cares about anymore. They handpicked XRP. Why? Their clients were already flooding them with requests for it. People want this. We're basically in the calm before the storm, waiting for prices to skyrocket. When that demand translates into actual investment flows, XRP is going to see numbers that'll blow your mind. Completely. Ripple has Tier 1 banks as partners because XRP will be classified as Tier 1 by the BIS. You read that right. XRP will be a Tier 1 asset alongside gold. Most XRP holders are not ready for what is coming for XRP. If Tier 1 classification sounds like gibberish to you, don't worry. Jake Claver explains the whole thing beautifully. Listen to what he's got to say here.
Imagine what could happen if XRP gets a Tier 1 asset designation from the Bank of International Settlements. A Tier 1 asset designation means the highest level of trust and liquidity in global finance. This status would allow XRP to be held as a core reserve asset by central banks, similar to gold and US Treasuries. With the Tier 1 backing, XRP would not just be another cryptocurrency, it'd be a critical piece of the global financial system. The result? Increased adoption, greater liquidity, and potentially massive price appreciation. The Bank of International Settlements plays a central role in setting global financial standards. And if they were to elevate XRP to Tier 1 status, it would signal trust, regulatory acceptance, and broader usage in cross-border settlements. The implications of this move would be huge, potentially cementing XRP's place as a core piece of infrastructure in banking globally.
Every white paper the BIS puts out, RippleNet technology is woven right through it, along with XRP itself. Now imagine the BIS slaps that Tier 1 label on XRP. The price targets people talk about today would look like pocket change compared to what we'd actually see happen. And the chances of this going down are extremely, extremely solid. Think about who's already viewing XRP this way. The BIS, the IMF, the World Bank, the ECB, and a whole army of central banks worldwide. These institutions picked XRP as their horse from the starting gate. They saw the future while everyone else was still figuring out the present. Why am I hammering this point home right now? Basel III lands in January next year. That's potentially another major spark plug igniting right when alt season is heating up. I'm not guaranteeing this unfolds with absolute certainty, but the probability of this materializing in the near term is genuinely massive. Data analyst XRP's turn is beginning. Price has bottomed out. Here's the new target. Their breakdown shows XRP just scraped the floor, and they're projecting a climb straight to $21 plus change, happening relatively quick from here. The ETF cash is getting ready to flood the market, and when that happens, retail investors are going to pile in with serious FOMO energy. Once XRP punches through that resistance wall, we're looking way beyond just another all-time high here. We're entering uncharted territory with pure price discovery. Everyone's timeline is packed with people screaming that XRP's chart is pointing to a supercycle situation. Those brutal years we spent trapped in sideways movement, that compression is about to unleash itself and catapult this coin through resistance level after resistance level. But listen, I'm not convinced this is a supercycle play. What I'm really anticipating is a utility-based explosion that ignites during this alt-season wave. This move is going to look nothing like what we witnessed in past cycles because institutional money was completely absent in 2021. Zero institutional presence back in 2017 and 2018 either. But now, they've finally entered the arena. These massive institutions are positioned to control this alt season, and that's the factor I believe will genuinely revolutionize how XRP's price behaves. Now, pinning down an exact top right now is premature because we just don't have enough data yet. Wait 2 weeks, and we'll be working with much stronger indicators. We've got to monitor those ETF capital flows meticulously. After that, we examine whether that incoming money is genuinely driving XRP's price momentum. Are we going to witness that market cap multiplier phenomenon happening with XRP too? That's the critical question we need answered. But here's my take right now. The breakthrough moment is almost here, so while everything unfolds, just maintain your patience and keep your energy positive. All right, that's all I've got for today. Really appreciate you hanging out with me. Catch you in the next one. Hope you have an awesome night.